Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us today once more in another career video by Community Tree. Hi, guys, and thank you for staying tuned for the second part of our salary negotiation career videos. Here again, we have Layla, and the second question we have right now is like let's assume that we are already in an interview with a recruiter or with the hiring manager, but we're not really sure when is an appropriate time to ask for salary. What can you tell us about that?
Yeah, so if you're already talking to the hiring manager or potentially the person who will be your boss and that you're going through the interview process with, it's really important that you don't bring up the salary right away on the first conversation. You don't want to come across that that's the main thing on your mind. First, it's really important that you assess how qualified you are for that job, if it's the right fit, even if the company is the right fit for you or not. And interview is a two-way street, right? You want to understand the fit both ways. The employer is trying to understand if you're a right fit for them. You're trying to understand if they are a right fit for you. So you want to go through that process before you bring up the salary negotiation piece or even asking what the salary is. So I would recommend, once you've gone through all the stages of the interviews and they are ready to offer you, that's when you bring up the salary piece, or usually the employer will bring it up with you and what they're looking to offer you, and you can counter offer.
Okay, yeah, and this makes a lot of sense, and it connects a lot with the first part of our video, right? Where we talked about research, and that is where it comes into like we can know a little bit more about what we should expect, and then we can compare it, right now, like what should we ask for? So, what happens if my future employer wants to know my previous salary? That is a little bit of a tricky question, but I wanted to know your answer.
It definitely is. And never, ever tell them your current salary. It gives them the opportunity to know where you're at and what they can negotiate with you. So you're basically showing them all your cards. So you don't want to reveal that. If they ask you, you can always politely say, hey, look, I'm open to discussing about salary. I'm open to negotiating in the future once we have gone through the interview process, and I'm happy to discuss it with you, as I definitely feel like this is a great opportunity for me. This is a great company I would like to learn more about. So you want to change up the conversation a little bit to show that you are flexible and that you're open to this conversation, but not right now in the latter part of the interview process.
Okay, no, definitely. But what if they insist? Because I mean, sometimes they can be like, no, we really want to know. So how do we manage in those situations?
Yeah, so I would say that if they're still insisting, it's a bit of a red flag, and it's something for you to consider is why are they insisting? And is this the kind of employer I want to deal with? If you have gone back to them with the answer like, hey, look, let's talk about it later in the part of the process, and I'm happy to discuss the salary range later on, then that should have put the conversation to an end. But if they're still insisting, you would want to consider and see it as a bit of a red flag at that stage.
Yeah, no, definitely. As you mentioned before, right? Like an interview is a two-way street. So it is also me evaluating whether or not I want to work for the company.
That's
Thank you
correct.
very much, Leila, for that answer. And stay tuned, guys, for the third part of our career video series.